Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. After the Season 3 update, the rifle category is more competitive than it's been in some times. We saw a handful of nerfs to some of the top tier rifles. They weren't anything crazy, but they do bring them slightly more in line with the rest of the category, meaning the top 5 now is, like I said, the most competitive it's been in some time. And honestly, it's pretty hard to put these in a direct 1 through 5 order, but I'm going to try my best. Starting first at number 5 here today, we've got the Kastov 7.62. Now, technically, this does have basically the best TTK over long range when it comes to the rifle category. It's the most powerful rifle we have in the category, but it is a higher risk, higher reward weapon versus the other 4 spots on this list. This by far has the most noticeable recoil out of all the weapons that we're covering here in this video. So it's going to be harder to consistently land shots. And in turn, well, yes, your 100% accurate TTK with this gun is better than the other rifles. Your realistic TTK, when you factor in missed shots, is going to be worse than some of those. It's still a beast and easily in the top 5, but it is going to be a bit harder to use than those other options. This setup, though, does really focus a ton on control to make sure you're as accurate as possible. First up, go with whatever optic you are the most comfortable with. For me, that's the AMOT V4, and I tune for the furthest eye position and faster ADS. 40 round extended mag, gotta have that for duos, trios, and quads. Obviously, I go for high velocity ammo. This is what I use instead of a barrel, just because having that better velocity over range is going to help out a lot with your consistency and your hit reg feels. So this is a pretty important aspect of this. You tune for the better velocity and range. Edge 47 under barrel. You could also go for Ripper. You could also go for lock grip precision. Any of these are going to, be a really good choice. There's no wrong answer here, really. Tuning for the better stability and stabilization there. Then lastly, polar fire S suppressor, better range, better velocity as well. Can really help make it feel even more efficient in the mid to long range, right? And we're tuning for better velocity and a better ADS speed as well. Overall, 7.62 still feeling very, very good here in Season 3. Just takes a bit more getting used to than some of the other spots on this list. Like, for instance, the M4, which I have at number 4. Fitting enough, this thing is just old reliable right now. The reason that this is at number 4, though, is because over range it does fall off a bit. Its TTK is a little bit worse than some of the other options here, despite also being a very easy to use weapon. So its damage is just not the best it could be to really bring it up to 3, 2, or even number 1 on this particular kind of video, right? But that said, the M4 is still an absolute phenom in the battlefield, right? Low recoil, really good damage still, even though it's not the number 1 in class. You can't really go wrong with this thing, right? This setup works great on a Sheikah or on Al Mazrah. It's going to be really easy to use. AMOT V4 yet again, furthest eye position, faster ADS. 45 round extended mag. You could also jump up to 60. That's totally preference based. Just keep in mind, with 60, you're going to be a tad bit slower. That's why I go for 45 personally. High velocity ammo yet again, same tunes as before, better velocity, better damage range. No underbarrel in this case, because quite frankly, it's just so easy to use. I can get away with going over to the high tower barrel because this will actually help out some with control, but then also velocity and range, making it even more lethal in the mid to long range, right? And I tune this for better range and steadiness. And then lastly, Echoless 80 suppressor. You'll see a lot of this today. It's kind of the go-to suppressor. Minimal cons, great pros with the better velocity and the better damage range, tuning for that better velocity and the better ADS speed as well. Been loving the M4 feel here, especially after some of the nerfs to some options that, yes, are higher than this. Like I said, it being so competitive, you can't go wrong with any of these options here today. Now, at number 3, I've got the TAC 56. It saw a slight nerf, a slight headshot nerf with Season 3. It's not going to be anything that drastically changes the feel of this weapon, especially when you're factoring in combination shots, right? It's not like you're only hitting headshots and nothing to the neck, the torso, the limbs, right? So it's still an absolute beast. One of the easiest weapons to use in the entire game in terms of control. It's very straightforward. It's got that reliable TTK. Also a great versatile build for medium long range, a Sheikah or Al Mazrah yet again, right? And that's exactly what we got going on here. We are going for iron sights. If you feel like you have to have a sight on here, drop the combat rear grip and throw on whatever optic you want, but I like the iron, so I go all out control here. This is just straight up going to help out with recoil control. We tune to enhance that. 40 round extended mag, once more, if you want to jump up to 60, feel free, be my guest. Just keep in mind you're going to be a tad bit slower. High velocity ammo, yet again, bullet velocity and damage range on the tunes there. Edge 47, or if you want to go for the Ripper or the lock grip, feel free to do so. Better stability and stabilization for all of that. Then lastly, once more, we also got the Echoless 80 here too for that better velocity and ADS speed and damage range once you factor in everything with the base stats and the tunes on there. So yes, slightly worse than it was back in Season 2. TAC 56, though, still a top tier option here in Season 3 and probably will be for quite some time. Now, as we get into our top 2 here, quick reminder, if you guys are new to the channel, every single day, I'm your one-stop shop for everything going on in COD, whether it's the meta conversation, news, updates, leaks, rumors, you name it, it's all right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and join us on the road to 1 million. And if you guys enjoy the video or if you find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. And I want to give a quick shout out to my friends over at G Fuel. I'm here grinding in season 3, testing out weapons, leveling up, experiencing the new modes and everything, and I'm doing that with G Fuel on the ready. If you need that added boost during your day, look no further than G Fuel. They got a bunch of different flavors in the form of tubs and cans. Lately, I've been really enjoying the cans. The new Summit flavors just dropped, raspberry creamsicle. Phenomenal. Might be my new favorite flavor out there, honestly. If you ever want to get some for yourself, though, they got starter kits, they got the basic tubs, like I said, and code Immortal gets you 20 to 30% off your entire orders. So if you want to grab anything, throw that in at checkout, take advantage of that increased discount. Now at number 2, I've got the Hemlock. This again also saw some slight nerfs with season 3, but they weren't enough to knock it down a ton. I think before this was the clear and obvious #1 rifle in the game. Now though, it's just an absolute top tier rifle in the conversation, making things even more competitive, which really is just good for the game in general, right? Here, standard yet again, AMOP V4, furthest eye position, faster ADS. 45 round mag is the largest here, so that's what we're all, of course, going to be running. High velocity ammo, better velocity, and better damage range. And again, because the recoil is so easy here, I don't feel like you need that underbarrel. Instead, I go for the T50 barrel. This will help out with range and velocity, but also some control as well. You just miss out on some of that stability, which in this case, I don't think is a huge deal, considering how easy this thing is to use, right? Then lastly, once more, we do got the Echoless 80 suppressor, better velocity. You can go either for smoothness or ADS speed here. It's really not going to make a huge difference, but this thing is still one of the easier guns to use in the game, right up there with the TAC 56 in terms of ease of use, and its TTK over range is still phenomenal as well. And then lastly, this might come as a surprise to you, but we've got the M13 at the #1 spot, and this is strictly based off of its potential realistic TTK. It saw some buffs for the long range here that really make it effective. Now in the mid range, it's going to be right up there with the other rifles, not really all that different, worse than some, better than some, but over range, once you get beyond 60, 70, 80, 90 meters, this is low recoil, and its realistic TTK is going to be really, really good. Now, the drawback here is going to be that ammo capacity. We have to run the 60 round mag, and even with that, the fire rate's so fast that you have to reload a lot. But overall, this thing's got a lot of promise after the updates to all the rifles with the season 3 update. AMOP V4, furthest eye position, faster ADS per usual. High velocity ammo, better velocity, better range on those tunes. Here, quite frankly, I feel like you could go for any of the underbarrels I've talked about or the Echelon barrel. For my preference, I like the feel of the Echelon barrel. I like that added range and velocity. You get some control here too for what it's worth, and we're tuning in for the better range and steadiness. But if you really want the overall stability and recoil, you could go for Lock Grip or Ripper or the Edge 47. No real wrong answers between those. And lastly, we got the Echoless 80 on here as well. Better velocity and better ADS speed here too. So really, you can't go wrong with any of these 5 options here today. A lot of it is preference based. If you really love the TAC 56 feel over the M13, always go for what you're the most comfortable with, but you got a lot of very competitive choices in the rifle category right now. And that being said, that's going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications to stay up to date with all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.